Hey, welcome to Text Me When You Outside, the podcast celebrating the past and present leaders of nightlife, live entertainment, and hospitality. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon McEachern, followed by my co-host,
Marcus Allen.
Let's get it going. But we are back again for another episode of Text Me When You Outside. We're here for episode 5. You got myself, Brandon McEachern, and then my brother,
Marcus Allen. What up?
What up, y'all? You know what I'm saying? I know we've been kind of ghosts for a second. You know what I mean? It's been a couple weeks. We done left y'all hanging. It's festival season. Y'all already know the deal. Booking, you know what I'm saying? It's this mad shit going on. You know what I'm saying? A lot of festivals being announced right now too.
Who you liking? What's standing out to you? Obviously, our LNU brothers. Brothers and sisters drop.
Yeah, we got a guest today. Our brother Shawn Gee gonna stop by and talk about the Roots picnic. I like how the Roots came this year. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, to Mark's point, those are our brothers within the LNU Live Nation Urban side of things. But I like theirs though. I like Governor's Ball too though, to be honest with you. I don't even think we've talked about the ones that have come. I like Governor's Ball.
I agree. I mean, honestly, I like a lot of the international festivals.
Oh yeah, like joints in Barcelona and all that.
Yeah,
shout out to my man Jay Carter and One Music Fest. They dropped their lineup today for a new entity that they building called Togetherland. So shout out to them for that. That was dope. I think they got Lil Wayne headlining. Lil Wayne is always a safe bet for our promoters out there. You know what I'm saying? Lil Wayne's always a good little go-to. Me and Mark used to say back in the day, if all else fails, book Miguel.
That's very true. Yeah, Miguel was a great number, great play as well. I mean, I'd be curious. Like, you know, I feel like of what me and you do in this festival game, you obviously got the much more sexier role. You know what I mean? And I'm curious on like, you know,
let's go through this, right? To your point, Mark. Let's go through this. We'll just do Governor's Ball for an example, right? Like, you got Post Malone, then you got that Rahul Alexandro cat.
What's a cat like Post getting? 1.5
easy, and we talking about $1.5 million for those who are listening to Text Me When You're Outside, episode 5. 1 million.
Yeah,
it's something to book these cats. But I like the way, at least for Governor's Ball, for me, you know what I'm saying. And let me put this out there: I'm a new Governor's Ball fan. I haven't been with them since the inception. I think that kind of plays a part when you booking lineups, because you could be a fan from forever. And, you know, these festivals evolve, right? But you got the Post, you got the Raul. So that means you got the people who love Post Malone, but then you got the Latin crowd, right? With a Latin headliner. I think that's a vibe, bro. You in New York, you know what I'm saying? You got to know who you playing to. You know what I mean? Then on the second day, you got the Killers on the rock side, and then you got 21 Savage. Great balance. And then on the last day, you got SZA, and I can't pronounce this other person, Peso Paloma. Do you know Peso in them?
I don't.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, SZA strong. What'd you say, Mark? How much it costs to pay for SZA? I don't know. Maybe around $2 million. So, you know, shout out to Governor's Ball and my man.
That's probably a $12 million lineup, huh?
Man, bro, you got Doechii on here. You got Carly Rae Jepsen. You know what I'm saying? Like the hops and the skips. And I think for those big festivals, sometimes they get the ability to book from so many different sides of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? You got Latin, you got 21, you got Don Toliver. These niggas got Renee Rapp on here. Renee Rapp from, for those who not familiar, to all the college girls who live outside or whatever that show was. She's an actress on that, but she's like popping. She got a song with Meg Thee Stallion. You got Victoria Monet on here. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, they Tyler, like they did them. You know what I mean? Tizo, Flo. Yeah, man, some people would say it's all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it'd be interesting to see, you know, over the next couple of years, you know, do consumers continue to love that kind of festival? You know what I mean? And when I say that kind of festival, it's like the generalized, because everything else in our lives is becoming so niche.
Oh, you know what else? You know what else, Mark? It's something else that we haven't talked about on Text Me When You Outside. You know what I mean? Another festival that dropped. I'm gonna wait for you to finish your thoughts, and then we'll move to another festival. I got another one to put into the mix.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think that's just something to take note to. You know what I mean? Like tours are up. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, I think Gov Ball and like the Coachellas, the Lollapaloozas, you know, they have the brand cachet to go through this, you know, one of these peak and valley moments that the festival game is going through. This ain't their first. You know what I mean? Like this is probably their second or third peak and valley, I guess you would say valley, right? Because
after COVID, you got to change yourself. Yeah, you got to change yourself. But I think they've done a great job. And yet again, shout out to our boys over there at Governor's Entertainment. So, Mark, I'd love to get your opinions on this festival that had the internet broke down, you know what I mean, for a day or two. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on this Lovers and Friends that dropped? You know what I mean? Shout out to Jeff Schumann and all those good folks at Live Nation and Usher as well. You know what I'm saying? This Usher's festival too. I went last year. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. It was whatever. You know what I mean? Got to see.
I like it. You know, I like it. I like it.
I mean, these cats got the Backstreet Boys on here. When I saw that, I said, "Oh, you different." You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think Shawn Gee says it best, right? I think he says his description of Lovers and Friends, I think, is the best, which is, we're gonna give you the most over the top one day lineup that could ever happen in this particular kind of subgenre and genre of music and time, but you gonna pay for it.
Yeah, what is I'm glad you brought that up. Ticket prices. I'm glad you brought that up.
Look it up.
So we'll go back to Govs Ball real quick, right? So we just got through talking about Govs Ball. Govs Ball, their general admission is starting at $330. That's something to just take into consideration.
That's a GA.
That's a GA ticket. They're GA plus. These are all 3 days though.
Is that all in, or is that plus fees?
Days. Plus fees, of course. Oh, actually, they say on here, shout out to Governor's Entertainment, no hidden fees. All right, guys.
Oh, so then that's an all-in fee. So it's $330 all in.
So Govs Ball is 3 days, a 3-day festival. So those 3-day GA pluses are $566. Your VIP is $860.
So they basically charging you $110 a day for the GA.
Yeah, and then you can get a 3-day ultimate pass, which is $6,500. Access to Backstage Artist Village, all day cabanas with snacks and dinner buffet, an all-inclusive bar. You know what I mean? $100 credit to use on festival merch. Fuck with that. And then pre-sale to all the access to the Governor's Ball After Dark shows, which I love that Jordan and Alex and them do those shows in NY. I've never been to one of them, but all those shows in NY.
Yeah.
And then the 1-day tickets are starting at $150, which, you know, feel like it's pretty doable. So that was Govs Ball. And then to your point, let's go back to Lovers and Friends. Let's see what a day joint for Lovers and Friends.
Probably $500, close to $500 for a GA.
Let's see here. And we love to get y'all thoughts on what festivals y'all liked, or that if we missed anybody or whatever. So
yeah, we missed a lot.
General mission.
Yeah, what's a GA?
General mission for Lovers and Friends. You're looking at $470
plus fees.
Plus fees. You can join the wait list. This is a general admission ticket tier 4, is what I'm reading. So, yeah. You know what I mean? And actually, you got to join the wait list, because I do believe that Lovers and Friends is sold out. But
they capping. You know what they doing.
Hold on. And then your VIP cabana, if you want that, is $18,500. The festival $18,000. Am I reading that wrong? It ain't no commas in it. You know I got on these glasses, my dude.
Oh God!
Am I reading that wrong? Hold on, son. Hold on. I don't know if I'm reading that right. Maybe it is 1,800. I said 18,000. No, it is 18,000. 18500.00.
Yeah, 18,000.
You got me feeling like I'm tripping over here. Yeah,
and that's for what now?
That's for the VIP cabana.
That's like probably what, 10 tickets or
Complimentary
something?
2 bottles.
What is it, 10 tickets? How many passes is that?
How many passes is this? Each includes, must be, 10. So 10. It's 10 VIP tickets, you know what I mean?
So that's like $1,800 a piece.
Yeah, you get the vibe out, drinks, bottles, skip the line access for merch, you know what I mean? You put a little bread down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the older you get, the more you appreciate, and I think everybody kind of moving forward is appreciating these type of experiences. Like if you gonna do it, then do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, random. I be trying to figure out, where does the internet be getting they tour data from it, all they shit, because it be seeming so wrong. Like, cause we know Nicki tour doing hella good, but they be online trolling shorty like her shit struggling.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, this is Nicki Minaj, all praises due. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I had seen that. I've seen it a few times recently. That I think that should just be trolled. You know what I mean?
I mean, the internet is a place where you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so devastating there. You know what I mean? The internet is crazy. So we did Lovers and Friends, Governor's Ball. I'm interested, Mark. Who else, though? There's some cats, yo. I'm looking forward to Dreamville Festival dropping. I'm looking forward to that one. I was super excited. I think the Roots did their thing. Shawn Gee coming soon. What else, man? Togetherland. Shout out to my man Jay. I got to go back to that. Shout out to my man Jay. He dropped the festival.
Fernati.
Oh my God! How can I forget?
Yeah, Soul Bloom.
My brother, yo, Soul Bloom. Yeah, let's pull this up right now, man. My man. Shout out to everybody in Sacramento. You know what I mean? Let's go through Soul Bloom's great lineup. You know what I mean? Phenomenal. We'll list off some names. Another 3-day festival. You know what I mean? We got Friday. We got Snow Allegra as the headliner, which is cool. Broccoli City has had Snow Allegra in the past. Shout out to No ID and those good folks over there. Then he got Keitra Mine on the second day, Keitra Nada and Oh Boy, which I think is cool. And then another SZA. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we obviously
Nadia be on the he'll be on the show coming up here soon. So it'd be good to hear to tell his story. Because is he from Sacramento? Is he from that area?
I think he is from the SAC, and that's my boy. I look forward to hearing his story as well, him sharing with everybody. But I mean, a lot of great pieces on here: Tootsie, Leon Thomas, Masego, Sir, Wale, Dom Kennedy. You know, JoJo, which is interesting. Pink Pantherist. I mean,
he got some heat.
Phenomenal, yo.
What year is that for him?
Huh?
How long Soul Bloom been popping?
Shit, just about as long as Broccoli City. I want to say they maybe came 2 years, a year or so after us. Shout out to Caroline Yim when I used to Party Next Door, Ari Lennox, Doechii. You know what I'm saying? All this on one lineup. But they back in the day, Mark, when me and you was dealing with Caroline Yim in the early phases, it was us and them. She really helped. She really helped us get our festivals off the ground.
Yeah, because they were around the same time as us, right?
Yeah, we was both in May. And I think in the spring, and I think this is something else too, just to clarify, like, you know, having these contacts to get to these artists, you know what I'm saying, it's not something to be played with. Like, you talking about the biggest artists in the world, you know what I mean? You're talking about the SZAs of the world, you know what I mean? The Snow Allegras, the Lil Waynes, like, and having that relationship with that agent is very, very key. Having a relationship with the manager, super duper key as well.
And just know when you I guess, how do you say it? The newer cats, the newer brands coming into the game, just know we be knowing what y'all be doing. Because
the relationships. Yeah, I mean, you build relationships. The more and more you do something, the more you in a field, you know, you gain rapport with folks. You know what I'm saying? We all know each other. You know what I mean? So, you know, to his point, the more and more you get into this game, make sure that you go into those little mixers, whatever the fuck in your city, whatever, you know what I mean? Make sure you go to those things so you can.
I think I always say that because I think it's important to just realize that game, that agent game is so transactional, that
which is crushing for those of us who wear our hearts on our sleeves.
Yeah, nice. It's straight transactional, and I
Mark
think
gave me a post. Mark gave me a poster that said, "Thug tears, sensitive thugs. We all need hugs." You know, so just know dealing with agents. Don't think they're your friends, but
yeah,
but it could be a decent working
no,
relationship.
they become like work wives and work husbands. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they become, right? Where it's like you got an excellent relationship, y'all all in the office, but like you're not really trying to get with the motherfuckers like outside of that scenario. But in them confines, like y'all holding hands, like y'all is it's whatever. You know what I mean?
And I'm glad that we talk about lineups today, and I'm glad that we're talking about the finances behind these lineups. If you hear somebody on the radio and they are a staple name, just know that they're gonna cost you north of
500,000.
I mean, if it's somebody that you hear all the time, you know what I mean? We talking the Cardi B's and all these names. Just know that these are expensive people, man. It costs millions of dollars for these people. Yeah. And I don't know if people really understand that. You know what I mean? Like, I know we look at festivals from the outside and you just don't see a name that you like and you just like, yo, whatever. But, if you got promoters in your city who is bringing y'all some decent acts, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, you got to come in.
Speaking of that, there was that article that Baller Alert put out.
And maybe Naomi can put it up on our thing.
For sure. Like Meek had made a comment, like these festival lineups are getting weaker and weaker. Honestly, I feel like the urban scene, to me, I'm curious to get your thoughts, B, but I would say that the urban scene, the quality of music is so low.
I think I disagree already. What you mean by quality of music is low?
I believe that the quality of the music versus the price of the artist, 99% of the time don't match.
So
in terms of the lasting power, in terms of like,
I thought about that, and that makes sense. But if we're talking about an event, right? So, okay, so you and I had to know and the wherewithal to think about an Ice Spice before she became what she became, right? Like we were already having those conversations, right?
Right.
The only reason why I bring this up is because some of that stuff you paying for, Mark, off the face value of the art, right? So the music, whatever you may say, is lo-fi. But you and I know that we not only paying for that, you paying for that, and
yeah, for sure.
The attention that person garners, you know what I mean. So I think that the inflation that he may be speaking about, or that you speaking about, man, like you not hearing shit. I've been listening to these podcasts on our downtime, but the shit that Mark talking about is like, I don't know. I mean, the game is crazy. It is expensive, and it happened after COVID, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely happened after COVID, but I just think that you and your agent buddies, y'all done just ran, y'all have just absolutely just ran the shit out of the game. You know what I mean? And it's like, there was a time like, I would just say that in my opinion, the urban, specifically hip hop scene, they have outdone themselves.
I mean,
and I think they hit a wall. Like, I think this festival season, hip hop hit a wall. Obviously, LNU gonna support them, right? LNU gonna support them. We gonna book them. We gonna spend, millions of dollars in the urban space. But I would say right now, if we looked at all the budgets across all the festivals we touch, I would say probably R&B to hip hop is probably 65% R&B, 70% R&B right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily. Yeah, no. What I'm gonna say to that? I mean, that's a fact, though. I do think that yet again,
which has changed, because you know how hard it was to spend. Like, to spend $2 million on an R&B act in 2020, bro, you'd have had to damn near book Beyonce. $2 million, you could have got Beyonce in 2020. Mm-hmm. That's SZA.
Yeah.
No disrespect to SZA.
Oh, that's her. Dolo. Need that. I need that. Snooze on your ass.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I think, yet again, it's just
that's
like
crazy.
It's with everything, though. Even when you go to the grocery store, you know what I'm saying? Fucking donuts is more expensive than they was. You know what I mean? Like,
but I just think that on the hip hop side, that's where is taking the biggest beating.
But even when you think about what these brothers have been coming out with, like I saw an interview from St. John, I think it was, and he was talking about like writing for an artist and only getting a super small portion of like the royalties or the publishing rights or whatever the case may be. And speaking of that, we may need to have our homie Dan on here to talk about that, because at the end of the day, Mark, if I'm an artist, right, like if you're my manager and I'm looking at my streaming checks and I'm saying, oh, well, I'm going to get most of my bread. I'm not Travis Scott, so my merch ain't going to go but so crazy. Then I got to get money off just the show, period. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the bulk of your bread is coming from. So I think that
I'm obviously we've been spending money with niggas. So like, I'm not mad at that. And we've been, in some cases, overpaying for niggas. So I'm not mad at niggas getting bread. I'm just saying, I believe that they have hoarded the game to a point where their value and their actual hard ticket saleability does not match the number that they're asking for. And I think that that's happened across a lot of different artists in the hip hop genres, young cats and old cats, but more the younger cats. And now they're fucked because they position themselves in many cases as being artists that are, small arena, sell 5, 7, 8, 10,000 people, but they've been built up like that. But the tickets don't match the ask. Mm-hmm. Like, really, you a Fillmore nigga.
So basically what he's saying by this is a Fillmore is what at the most
2,000,
2,500 cap, which is capacity, right? And then you think about the arenas, which sometimes you'll see like a big artist in an arena and then you'll look over in the corner and see his mass seats that's empty or whatever the case may be.
So like that could be like you could do a cut down arena for like 7, 8, and 10,000 people. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like only part of the arena, they cut it down so it looks more filled. And I feel like it's a lot of artists trying to sell those when they really should be at, like, if you in Atlanta, they should be at the Roxy. If you in DC, they should be at the Anthem. You know what I mean? If you at
having the right advisor, a right person on your team, you know what I mean, to let you know. Because sometimes you can hop out the window. If I'm an artist and I'm feeling myself, I'm like, yo, I can do X, So you need somebody on your team to say, hey, look, hey, brother, we gonna stick you to these rivers and these lakes that you used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna front. I'm gonna tell you who do that with their artists the best.
Who?
Dreamville.
Man, shout out to Dreamville. We look forward to them dropping a lineup. Shout out to my man Rob.
I would say the only knock I got on any Dreamville touring to any live is the Ari Lennox on Shorty's on Cousins tour on
the Rob Wave.
Yeah, that was But I would say other than that, I would say they've been flawless with the way that they oversee their touring and just building the artists up and just having them in the right rooms and
I think they're doing a great job. I think it's
who that Rob Gibbs
coming back. You know what I'm saying? It's a couple entities that coming back. Great job. I think Schoolboy Q is doing a great job with his rollout and all his stuff. I think Cass is coming back. And I think the tour space is a great space. And we'll see about these festivals, you know what I'm saying? As time plays along, we'll see about these. Because I want to know if folks are looking for new experiences when you come to festivals. Like, is it still the same old thing? And I'd love to get y'all thoughts on that, man. If y'all could leave us a comment or whatever.
Just in the comments.
Festivals. You know what I mean? Like, is it cool walking around all day? Like, is that still the vibe? You know what I mean? Like, or is it, you don't need all that? Do you need all these artists? Or do you just need a bottle of oh, you know what? Speaking of bottles of, I did see a Twitter post, Mark, that said, or something about Gen Z not drinking as much.
I've seen it. I've been called that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually been watching our numbers from an F&B standpoint. I've watched food.
Giving all y'all the tips. I'm not. Go ahead, Mark. You speak. I'm gonna make sure I be the.
I've seen our food sales start to damn near level up with our drink sales. You know what I'm saying? And it used to never be like that. You know what I mean? It would be like, food sales would be like maybe 30% of your liquor sales. And now the fact that it's getting almost 50-50, that tell me that, cats is doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
nah,
mixing it all. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have me one little drink. I'm gonna have me a little, you know what I mean? Yeah, this, that, whatever.
and it's funny because we just talked about, you got your Gen Zers, right, who not drinking as much, and we're gonna bring another festival up here in a second. Yet again, another one from Jeff Schumann. Oh, Lionel Richie and Diana Ross. I apologize. You know what I'm saying? Fool in Love Festival. Man, I think Marcus
The
kind of hit it on
legend.
the head with the over top. I think this is one day as well.
Yeah, one day. That's his
Yeah,
little
one
motto.
day. Like California, so that means you ain't got to worry about no weather. I mean, this thing is like, for those of us who grew up under your moms and them and all that, like this is, man, the Isley Brothers, Shaka Khan. I mean, like, dog, Now Rogers and Charlie Wilson, Lionel Richie, Diana Ross, George Clinton. I mean, golly. I mean, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Duran Jones, the Manhattans, like it's just Barbara Mason, like why? You know what I mean? Like, so shout out yet again to my dude Jeff Schumann. He always answers my texts when I text him. That's my guy. But man, I mean, Elder Barge is on the bottom line. I'll just say that. Elder Barge is on the bottom line. No shade to the bottom line, but I mean, dog, this is Fool in Love, Los Angeles, August 31st. I mean, wow. Smokey Robinson. I mean, let me ask you this, Mark, and I do the talent, but you're pretty familiar. I got to find out how much they spent on Diana Ross. Like, how much, I don't even know if I even would have thought, like, damn, let me go out here and book Diana, son. Like, it's fire.
I mean,
I'm a fan. And let's go and check how much they cost while we're here.
I mean, Diana, I'm going to say she's probably $1 million, but she's probably a lot to deal with.
All righty.
Respectfully.
Hey, I mean, general admission, $275 starting off, no hidden fees. It's not bad.
I mean, but they're I'd be curious to see, are they going to have seats though?
That's
because that is not the festival. We should it'd be curious to have somebody go check that out on the website to see if they got seats.
We're gonna get somebody from that team to be on
bust it down. Yeah. Because I think that buy-in community is not the stand all day festival. Like, you about to have niggas out there 65 years old passing out with knee replacements. You feel me?
You know what's so dope about that, Mark, and what I love for you to touch on is just like thinking about that, right? Like, in dealing with different age bracket folks, right? Like Lovers and Friends, that's in a parking lot. You know what I'm saying? It's classic Broccoli City. You know what I'm saying? And just thinking about, for some festivals, you need that seating because of the demographic that you're going for, especially when you're dealing within the African American community, which is a niche within itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, just overthinking all that shit. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. We back. You know what I mean? With the myth, the legend, the man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this our generation, Al Heyman. You know what I mean? Like. Oh, God. The name that everybody know, but nobody ever see him. Like, we don't know who this guy is in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we talking about festival lineups here. So we have one of the strongest cats out, a mentor to us. My man Shawn Gee is in the building. You know what I mean?
What up? What's up?
Yeah. So what's the thoughts? What's the thoughts? 1 week out on Roots. We were just talking about, before you came in, we were talking about all the challenges with the festival lineups, the cost, the expenses, the wild expectations. What's your takeaway from this season? And then how did that lead in the Roots and how you feel about it?
I mean, as y'all know, last year was a tough year for festivals overall, right?
For sure.
My gut is you probably will see 20 to 25% less festivals in the marketplace this year than last year because the economics is just crazy. Everything from vendor vendor expenses, equipment expenses, fuel. We all live that fuel, but that fuel gets passed on when you need somebody to truck, sound and lights to you, right? Let alone artist expenses, right? The talent expenses, everything is going up. And for us as festival producers, especially festival producers for Black folks, we try our best to provide an affordable ticket, provide significant value for an affordable ticket. So we haven't been able to just take those rising costs and pass them along to the consumer. So we got to figure out other ways to raise ancillary revenue to try to offset the costs. And sometimes we can make it work, and for other festivals, they haven't been able to. So coming into this year with all of that, all of the environmental issues that we had last year, for me specifically for Roots, it was the idea was getting back to our roots, right? Roots Picnic was founded on a foundation of creativity. Questlove and Black Thought are the founders. So, creativity is the foundation, collaboration. That's what the Roots are about, and discovery. We tried our best not to get in the rat race of top line, multi-million-dollar headliner, and how can we build a sustainable, really deep musical experience from the top of our lineup to the bottom of our lineup, right? The shit was hard. Like, the shit is not easy. Like, it literally, I tell people, like, my year don't start until we announce the Roots Picnic, because it takes up every waking thought. Like, you know what I mean? Every time I mistakenly hit the wrong playlist on Spotify, I'm like, who that? Like, should I be, you know what I mean? Listening to my son, listening to my homies, listening to, his homies. So, for me, you never know until that flyer goes up. Are you gonna get the fucking fire emoji, or you gonna get the trash can emoji? But yeah, I mean, for us, it was we had to get creative. It's like, how can we get creative?
Yeah. Nah, and a quick question for me is, in terms of that process, like, you and Questlove, like, kind of how does that play? Because I know he's very instrumental in booking the lineups for Roots, and I know you are as well. So how does that relationship work? Is that y'all just got a text thread? It's probably
I mean, what's the saying? It takes a village.
Yeah.
It takes a village to build the fucking lineup.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, me, Amir, and Tariq are sort of the foundation of it, but I got mock lineups in my phone from 4 different people and just part of my village, right? Yeah. Every year I'm like, yo, send me your lineup. Like, not send me a name.
Yeah, send me the whole joint.
Whole lineup. But these are people that I know, have been to the picnic, 5, 10, 15 years. Like, not, folks that understand what the DNA is.
Sure.
And I trust them, and they're part of the village. You know what I mean? We bounce back and forth.
For
like,
sure.
Yo, what you doing for Brock? Like, yo, what you doing for Rue? You think about this person, that person, whether it's, but I think the key to booking Roots Picnic is really understanding who the audience is. Right, because there's a one thing and that's across all of our portfolio festivals here at Live Nation Urban. We all service the Black audience, but each audience is different. Like, at Roots, you're going to see Babyface next to Sexy Red on the lineup, and it makes sense.
Yeah, it
right?
does. Yeah,
it might not make sense at any other festival, but for Roots Picnic, that makes sense because we know it's a multi-generational audience. We go from probably 25 to 60. You know what I mean? And we have multiple genres of music. It's not just hip hop and R&B. We've had country this year. This is our second year featuring go-go music. Always deep in jazz. We're doing a celebration of New Orleans with Wayne. That Wayne's curating as Trombone Shorty. And we'll bring a second line in from New Orleans and the whole nine. So that goes into that creativity pillar.
For sure.
With Roots, that's really our differentiator is, we go deep and wide across Black culture, and it's multi-generational. So that gives us the ability to go wider in our bookings, and things that might not make sense on other festivals for other audiences make sense in our in our case.
So my question would be, and I'm not sure if this is right, I don't want to misquote, and Shawn, you would know, is Roots Picnic the longest running Black festival other than like jazz type festival?
Essence was before. So we started Roots Picnic.
But I would say y'all the only one outside as a true festival though, right?
They're like a conference, right? When you say Essence is a summit, you know?
Yeah. Essence is a gathering, right?
Yes.
Music. There's they cornered the market on the whole sort of convention center conference side of it, but yeah, Essence is a little bit of everything. I mean, for us, we started it in 2008, I believe. Wow. And it was started because the Roots early on, we made our money in the festivals in Europe.
Got it.
Like when we came out, when the guys came out, a lot of folks in the States wasn't really fucking with the Roots. You know what I mean? Black people, white people. You know what I mean? It was a handful of people that really got what we were. And it was a diverse group of people that got it, but it was a really small pocket of individuals that really, would support us. So how we paid rents and all was, we used to go to Europe, and it was a more forgiving audience. And in Europe, they have festivals like Glastonbury and others that we used to play. And again, we would be dumb early in the day, but the headliner that night would be Bruce Springsteen on one stage and Beastie Boys on the other stage, right? Wow. And we saw that. And Tariq and Amir were like, why can't we do that in the States? Why can't we do that at home? So we just started it just saying, how can we take the experience that we were experiencing in Europe? And this is pre like United States festival boom. Right. Coachella had started. We actually played the second Coachella. Wow. Right. It was like Roots, Jurassic 5, Violated Peoples. Like Coachella when it started was that sort of more LA underground, hip hop, urban, hippie scene, what I mean?
Gotcha.
But Coachella was around, but it wasn't Coachella, right? So yeah, we started it back then, and it evolved. Like that first year, we had like 2,200 people. Wow. Gnarls Barkley was our headliner.
Was that your first promotion as like on like that side?
I mean, that was my first event promotion. Yes, multi artist event promotion. Again, as a manager, I promoted the route.
Absolutely.
Nobody was fucking with it. So me, and Rich,
you had to do whatever.
We had to do what we had to do to promote ourselves, and we always used to have these jam sessions, right? So we had jam sessions from the first time I started managing them, where we had multi artists at the 5 Spot in Philly or Wetlands in New York or SOBs in New York, where we would do a lot of promotions as well. But that was our first, okay, we're putting on a branded event and we're going to promote this. Yeah. And ironically, our partner was Live Nation. Like Jeff Gordon in Philly, he believed in it. We came back with the idea, the dream. Is funny because I didn't know how to put on a damn festival. I went to the city, I went to Comcast, I went to Brand, homies of mine that was in the brand business, and they were like, what you talking about? But I went to Jeff and said, I got this idea, and he was,
That's hard.
Like excitement for you, right? And looking into 2024, obviously you got the properties, like we said earlier, shout out to the Togetherlands, you know what I mean? The Roots Picnic, Broccoli City even holds a moniker under Live Nation Urban. What are you excited for though, going into, without dispelling too much information, obviously, but I'm just wondering what you're excited for going into 2024 in regards to this space. You know what I mean?
I'm excited to continue to grow our audience. And when I say our audience, I mean our collective audience, right? Live Nation Urban's collective audience, which, I use the analogy of two analogies. One is, P&G, because P&G is the hub for a bunch of individual brands. A lot of people don't know Procter & Gamble is the brand behind Charmin and others, right? What P&G does is they focus on building the equity of their brands, their individual brands, right? And that's a similar mentality that we have here is It's not going. You're not going to see like Live Nation Urban's Broccoli City, Live Nation. We don't. It's Broccoli City Festival. It's one music fest. So I'm excited about building that collective audience, and then figuring out alternative content that we can deliver to that audience.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
Like, how can we? Now that we have the attention. And now that they understand the brands and the value that we deliver through our traditional festivals, now what's next? What's the next level of live content that we can deliver to that audience and continue to deliver to that audience so they know we are a value trusted source of entertainment, of education, of whatever direction we take that content in, they can trust us.
Got it. And this is a question that everybody, and we've been talking LNU for a long time. People know LNU through us, obviously. But before you get off the podcast, we would love to hear why you started Live Nation Urban. You know what I mean? Like, because this podcast is for education, is for, you know what I mean? Like, to inspire somebody. You know what I mean? Like, why does a manager come into a live venue, you know what I'm saying? Like, company and create one of the, if not the largest African-American led, you know what I'm saying? Like ventures at the biggest live event company in the world.
I was in the business for about 15 years before I started Live Nation Urban, right? And I was a music manager, Roots, Joe Scott, amongst others. As a manager and an entrepreneur, I sort of created my own utopia, right? I needed a tour manager in 1999. I met Tina Ferris. She wanted to be a tour manager. She was dope. She was smart. She was good with people. I didn't know there weren't many or any black women tour managers at the time.
Shout out to Tina.
You know what I mean? I just was like, me and Rich was like, oh, you hired, right? When I first started working with Ye and we did Glow in the Dark tour, and he said I needed I had to hire the production team and the tour team. I reached out and found who the best production manager was, and it was Curtis Battles, who was, Eminem's tour manager at the time, and production manager. And Curtis, he just happened to be black, right?
Yeah.
So the world that I lived in and created and built around myself was a world with black professionals primarily.
Got it.
Right? It wasn't until I sold my management company into Live Nation in 2014, and I started to see the business from this side. And what I realized at that point was we as black people did not exist. And when I say did not exist, I mean across the entire transaction of live, right? From agency representation of we were the talent. You know what I mean?
Right. Nothing in between.
Agency representation of artists, primarily white, right? The buyer on the talent side, whether it was Live Nation, AG, whatever the company was, primarily white, right? That transaction happens. You go out on tour. The venue manager or venue owner, primarily white, right? The vendor that pulled up the truck at 7 a.m. and started unloading their sound equipment for that show that night, primarily white, right? Once you get in the venue, all of the union that was loading onto the stage, primarily white, right? Once the show starts, you look to the side, who's the lighting guy? A white guy, right? For sure. And this is primarily white men. So for me, once I realized like, oh shit, for the last 20 years, I've been creating my own space. But this is what the world really, really looks like. It was my calling. Like, what I mean? You mentioned Al Heyman. As we started, he's my OG. He's my mentor. I met him when he was the promoter of the first tour I did with him was Lil Wayne, I Am Music, off the Tales of Carter 3. And after that, he had all my Wayne business. He had my Drake business. He had my Nicki business. He was the promoter I worked with, but he also instilled in me, like, look, young brother, I'm not going to be in this for much longer. He had already had his vision on taking over the boxing world. And he said, I'm going to hand this over to you. And
was he doing that independent? Was he putting up his own money?
He had a venture with Live Nation.
Got you.
He had a venture with Michael Rapino.
Got you.
He was the black promoter from he did Michael Jackson and the Commodores, like from the 70s. You know, when I met him, he was at the very end of his music run. But, you know, he gave me the responsibility, right? And I took it on, and I formed Live Nation Urban to just sort of change the industry. Like, that's my goal. Like, and it's been, you know, it's taken generations to get here. Mm-hmm. So I'm not under any pretense that in 5 or 10 years, this thing is going to change. But I do understand that you need people on the outside, but you also need people on the inside.
Facts.
You know, sometimes you kick in the doors, but you need somebody on the other side that's going to unlock the bitch and crack it for you. So for me, that was my vision, is do this deal, partner with Michael Rapino, who's been a great partner and allowed me to talk my shit and build this business, but be able to open the doors for brothers like yourselves, for Jay Carters, for the Brandon Pankeys, for whether you're a young executive that wants to be CEO, or if you're a young entrepreneur that needs some capital and resources, right? We don't know where to look, especially in the live business. Like I said, it was we didn't exist, so who do we look to? So that was the reason we started. That's the reason I started.
For sure.
And I was gonna say, my bad. As a black man, how important, or not even as a black man, not even that, how important is collaboration for you? You know what I mean? Like, how much is that?
It's everything.
Got it.
You know what I mean? It's everything.
Got it.
For me, I mean, if you look at the partnerships that I have, you know, whether it's artist partnerships, you know, I got a partnership with Kirk Franklin that started as a festival that has grown into, you know, the largest gospel tour in 2023, and we're about to launch another huge arena gospel tour in 2024. I have a partnership with Mary J. Blige, obviously partnership with The Roots, but just as important as my partnership with artists is partnerships with, you know, individuals like yourselves, Jay Carter, you know, other entrepreneurs that have ideas that, you know, just need a little help. You know, just need a little capital, a couple resources, some infrastructure, right? So for me, if you look at the foundation and infrastructure that is Live Nation Urban, it is built on collaboration. You know, it's built on collaboration. And for me, it's like, I'd rather take, you know, 50% of a really big pie than fight and, you know, try to be territorial over 100% of a little slice of a pie. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So my last question, Mark.
For sure.
As if I'm a young promoter, I find out the email to a Shawn Gee, a Brandon, a Marcus, whatever the case may be. What advice would you give them to be able to pitch their idea? They may have something going already, but can you speak on, is it important to obviously have your financials in place, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of times, Mark, that we get introduced to a lot of these young brothers and you meet with them, or young queens, and you meet with them and they may not have everything kind of all together, right? Like, is there any advice you would give on anybody who's trying to get to that next phase of whatever it is that they're building?
I don't expect a young promoter to have their financials in place, right? I mean, some are more organized than others. You know what I mean? Some will, you know their way around a spreadsheet more so than others. But I don't expect someone to come to me with a organized financial plan.
Got it.
What I react to is someone that has a unique differentiator from a creative perspective, and they got their finger on the pulse of culture, and they know how to move audience.
Got it.
I can get them an accountant. I could find a lighting director for them. I can put them in the right room. What I can't do is have 7,500 primarily black women outside on a rainy ass April, day in 2017, partying their ass off at St. E's.
For sure.
Right? Like, that's not something I can do. I'm saying that's how I met y'all two. Right? When I walked in, I'm like, oh yeah, the stage is kind of whatever, and okay, nobody checked me at security, all that shit. When I walked to the front of house, I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers got their finger on the pulse of culture.
Got it.
Right? So from a promoter, like, what's your differentiator? What's your secret sauce? What is it that you can do that I or be a Mark or whomever, we can look at and say, oh, if we add this, and this, I can see how this thing can grow and scale.
For sure.
you got your finger on the pulse of whatever that is, whatever that subculture or culture that you're driving, you know it, and you know your audience.
Beautiful. No, I love that, man. I love that.
This is great.
Yeah, this is phenomenal. You know what I mean? I guess I want to know. I'm looking at this lineup just so y'all know we got the lineup over here. I just want to get back on roots real quick because you really kind of shut down the internet. I mean, trending what, number 28?
Yeah, I seen it. It was top. It was definitely top 20 at one point on Twitter, formerly or X, formerly Twitter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you was cooking, man. I mean, is there anybody on here? And obviously, I'm not gonna get you cussed out by nobody, but is there anybody on here that you're really excited to see this year? You know what I mean? I mean, everybody from Jill Scott to Nas.
Yeah, you got to be Jill.
So, I mean, you know, I've managed Jill for 21 years. I've managed the Roots for 23 years.
How many times she played Roots?
She was a unannounced guest act.
Word.
5 years ago. She's never played Roots Picnic.
That's crazy.
She's been there 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Just hanging out, you know, but she's never played Roots Picnic.
Oh, that's
and last year when she was in her tour cycle, I was like, is this the year? Because she had a festival the week before in Aruba. And we had, you know, as we were building the tour, she was like, no, I want to play it next year when I'm not on tour. And this is, you know, so I'm excited for Nas. He's played it once before. Like, he was like on our 3rd or 4th. But, I mean, y'all know how it is when it goes booking. I've been trying to book Nas again for the last 5 years, 6 years. It's been no. Like, I'm overseas. I'm here.
Yeah.
It's actually the first confirmed that we got.
Oh, wow.
Back in like end of September.
So, I mean, obviously,
the first confirmation.
So, obviously, the monkey in the room is, how the fuck did you get Andre 3000? That's my question. You know what I mean? Like, and to have the know-with-all to be able to go after that, you had to go up there pretty early. I mean,
you know what's crazy? So, when Andre 3000 put the album out, I just called. I was calling to see if we can do the tour. And he said, you know, the agent gave me the tour strategy, was like, hey, we doing, you know, Blue Notes, and Small, and this and that, and this and that. And the agent said to me, what about Roots Picnic?
That's crazy.
I know you was like, let's go.
It's a testament to staying really consistent and strong in your foundation, because Roots Picnic is the only non-jazz festival that he's going to play.
Wow.
And the reason he is because he feels like, you know, whether it's he, his team, whoever has been paying attention, like the Roots Picnic audience will be welcoming to the flute, you know, his performance.
Absolutely.
They're not going to be up there waiting for him to sing "Hey Ya" or one of the
They're
going to understand what it is, be welcoming, and he can look to the left on the lineup and see somebody like Robert Glasper, and to the right and see somebody like Yeba, where he feels comfortable. You know what I mean? So I wish I could say, like, I put this whole plan together for I was literally calling to see, like, okay, what he doing from a tour perspective? And they were like, yo, he's doing a couple festivals, and we talked about respecting him.
Yeah, it's crazy because we just talked about, like, you know, it seems like the festival is in a bit of like a valley right now. We were just talking about how, like, the Roots, the Lollapaloozas, the Coachellas, like, this is probably like their second valley that they done seen. So it's like you can get a chance to have artists come back around through a 5 to 7 year cycle. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. Like, it's just crazy just to be able to hang on. Like, and I think that to me is the biggest testament that I really be following what you got going on, and what I really be admiring is how difficult it is for Black brands to stay alive for 10, 15 years in the live space. Like, to your point, like, you can hardly name them. They don't even exist. You know what I'm saying? And so the fact that, like, the brand is strong, it's good, like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to see that.
And my bad to interrupt you, Mark, but I guess I would say that's a testament to relationship building, right?
Sure.
Or just having relationships. So for us in this game, for everybody listening who's coming up, and I'm going to definitely let you go. His phone ringing off the hook, y'all, just so you know. But how important are relationships? And Marcus had made a joke about this earlier. promoters' relationships with agents, right? Like, we know that it's transactional, right? But like, what would you just say is like just something that people should just keep on their mind as we're busy? Always be honest. I remember one time I called Shawn, and I was going through, I don't know who artist it was, Mark. And I'm like, gee, man, I'm trying to get him. Like, I ain't got this, I ain't got that, but I do got this. And Shawn like, yo, just be honest with him. Just be honest with the agent or whoever I was talking to. End up being honest and end up getting it done. You know what I mean? But like, I love to just get your thoughts on like just the relationship kind of thought in this wild industry that we in.
I mean, relationship is everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Relationship is everything. I mean, it's relationships in every direction, right? You know, it's relationships up, you know, from a standpoint of any OGs and mentors and those things, because you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot from successes. You can also learn a lot from failures. It's relationships down. When I say down, not being disrespectful, but, you know, your teammates, you know, youngins in the business, because, you know, there is no Roots Picnic without my team. I'm not, you know, up on OT7 Kwani.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not listening to OT7 Kwani, but when I put OT7 Kwani on the Roots Picnic lineup, I look like a genius.
Got it.
And it got nothing to do with me. It got to do with the relationships of younger folks that's like, yo, you got to get Kwani on this year, right? Yep. So it's like maintaining those relationships, and most importantly is relationships with your peers. Because what I've seen, you know, blessed to be around a couple decades in the industry, is the people that you rocking with, no matter what cross section of the industry they're in, label, branding, tech, whatever, as the tide rises, all of y'all are going to rise. Right? So when it's time for me this morning to try to confirm an act on Togetherland because somebody pulled off the last minute Saturday and this act was on a tour of a large artist and we had to get that artist to clear, I pick up the phone and call Rob Gibbs, who's the agent.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not a random call. Me and Rob been in these streets. We done both been, and Rob wouldn't mind us be saying this. Both me and Rob got fired by Drake together.
Yeah.
And Rob is now the head of UTA. I'm the head of Live Nation Urban, right? We survived that in 2013, and our tide has risen together. So maintaining those relationships with the people, with your peers that you rocking with at whatever level you are, those are the most important relationships, because all y'all gonna rise over time. And those phone calls are going to be much easier when you calling your homie or your homegirl. You know what I mean? Somebody you done been through stuff with, than a cold call to somebody.
Love it. That right there. So Jay-Z said, what did Jay-Z say at the end of the Grammys? Don't show up every day. And then from Shawn Gee, you know what I'm saying? We all gonna rise. You know what I mean? Like, that's powerful, bro. That's powerful, man. Thank you so much, man, for taking your time out. We're super excited for Roots Picnic. Make sure y'all get y'all tickets for Roots Picnic. And thank you, man, just so much for the time, my brother. Appreciate you. Hey, man, thank y'all so much for listening to episode 5 of Text Me When You Outside. Please follow us on all platforms. You know what I mean? Text Me Outside on IG, YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple. And you know what we always say, you know what I'm saying? Me and Mark signing off. Text me when you outside.
Yeah, holla.
Yeah.